Thanks for coming back for more pie, everyone. Today, I'm going to show you how to hardwire in a front and rear dash cam in a Gen 2 Prius.
Attitude as user.
Here we are. So I've already used this adhesive. It looks like it's pretty stubborn about coming off, so. Once you have your dash cam mounted, you need to decide how you want to wire it to your car. Mine came with a hard wiring kit designed to tap directly into my fuse box. If all you have is a cigarette lighter plug, then you can run it through the paneling, or you can find a way to attach wires to the plug itself, though having a soldering iron would have made it a lot easier for me. Or, even better yet, you can get one of these 12-volt power outlets that you can use to wire into the fuse box itself. My dash cam has a front and back camera, so I'll have two wires to run. Here we are. For the most part, you can just stuff these wires into the headboard, but to start, I had to remove a couple of screws and pop out part of this storage container to give a little bit of extra wiggling room to the headboard. I think they wanted to make sure that this rear camera would be able to reach all the way into the back of a semi-trailer. Once you have the wires tucked into the headboard, the next step is to pull off the weather stripping off of the door. Then you can loosen this side panel. It won't easily come completely off because it's covering the airbag. Then you'll definitely want to run the wires behind the airbag. Airbags don't pop when you're just messing with them, right? They require like an electrical signal. Sure. That's how they work. This is the hard wire that we send down to the fuse box. To remove the paneling, you'll have to pry it off with a flathead screwdriver on the top and bottom. There we go. Then you'll be able to unscrew these two screws. Once those are out, you can now pry off the whole lower panel. Oh, there it goes. It looks like that. There's a little tab on the other side over here. There we go. I believe we can just leave dangling. I continued to remove the rest of the paneling because I was in the process of installing a stereo as well. Next, pop up this small panel. There we are. This will give enough room for your hand to guide the wires to come out next to the vent. So now I just need to get this fuse little plastic connector through. There we go. And then we can just run this right down to the box. Next, pull up this lower panel. Pop this up. You can just do this with your bare hands. It partially covers this panel. Pops off. Once you remove it, it will reveal this bolt that goes to ground. This is a good spot for your negative wire. Now we can just stuff the wires into the fuses themselves. This will allow you to just barely put the cover back on, but it's not a very elegant solution. So instead I got these low profile fuse tabs that have extra fuses so I can even create a separate circuit. Now you need to figure out which fuses that you can tap into. My dash cam has a parking mode, which means that it'll record even when the car is turned off. So I need two fuses, one that stays on all the time and one that is only on when the car is on. Start with your fuse diagram. You want to test ones that have to do with the power outlets, the accessory, maybe the panel, or the tail lights. We'll make sure which ones work with a battery tester. If you also got a dash cam with parking mode, make sure that your car is off before testing. Place the negative lead of your tester on a grounding point. Then start testing the metal leads on the fuses with the red terminal. I was able to find this 15 amp fuse that remained on all the time that went to the front power outlet. My red wire will go here, but don't plug it in here if you don't have parking mode. Otherwise your dash cam will completely drain your car auxiliary battery. With the car on, I was able to find this 7.5 amp fuse that turned on the car's accessories and turned off with the car. I'll be connecting my last wire here that my dash cam labeled as accessory. If your dash cam doesn't have parking mode, plug your red wire here instead. Once you turn the car off again and have it all planned out, you can begin taking out the fuses. Then place it into the bottom slot of a fuse tab. And then place a new fuse into the top. Notice that this one goes to the wire, creating a new circuit. Crush the plastic. Again, I am crimping mine to the dash cam accessory wire. Crush the metal. And when you're done with them, you just simply place them in the fuse slots. All right, let's see if the dash cam works. Haha! It's on. Make sure to also test your stereo, power outlets, and parking mode if you have it. Before we put the panels back on, make sure that the parking brake does not hit any of the wires. I tucked mine behind this lower panel. Now to install the rear dash cam, begin by removing the weather stripping also from the second door. Then you'll be able to tuck a loop of wire through the side paneling. There we go. Just run that through. Peel back this weather stripping. And we just need to send it straight through there. Loosen this side panel and that'll give the headboard enough room for you to send a loop of wire through here as well. There we go. There's the wire. This USB port is too big to fit through the tube here. Cut that. We can strip after we thread it through.
Yes. I love Billy stripping.
Jeez. So this is actually the rear windshield wiper fluid container. I see it. I see it. I saw it. Oh, there's the wires. There they are.
Are you giving birth?
Yeah.
Alright, this make me feel weird. Make me feel real weird, Billy.
There we go. Yeah, see that's why I cut off the end. Even though it was a micro B port. So I will leave extra slack just chilling up here in the headliner. I'll leave that loose for now so that way if I need more slack. Next you can start removing the paneling on the hatchback door. There we go. There's a couple of panel clips that got stuck a bit in there, so I got this little $5 remover thingy, just like that, so that they can pop on nice and easily. There we go. Some popped off. There we go. So, fortunately, I've got more of these coming in the mail since they break so easily. Sweet. Yeah, when I did this the first time, one of these panel connectors actually fell down in there. With the paneling removed, you can now thread the wire up through this hole. Grab that. So this webcam has already been used before, so I'm just gonna use a command strip. The best place I found for the rear camera was on the lower window between the lines. Even though it's tinted, I found that it creates a better field of view. I'm gonna strip the USB cable. Since my rear camera uses a USB cable, I have some shielding wires around the outside. Even though these aren't used in data transfer, I went ahead and twisted them together so that I could join it with the shielding of the other wire as well. Once I had all of the smaller wires stripped, I went ahead and joined them together with butt connectors. There we are. And as a final touch, I went ahead and taped it all together. That way I can get everyone all excited. Once the wires are connected, you can go ahead and test it out. Aha, that's right, the hatch is open. Once you have everything working, you can go ahead and start putting the panels back on. Make sure that no connectors fall out in the process. When putting the tubing back in, make sure that you get the rubber around the plastic connectors before popping them back in. Next, put the weather stripping back on the frame of the car. And pop and screw in the upper storage container if you haven't already. Before connecting the lower panel, make sure that you reconnect the dimmer switch wiring harness. Then you can screw in its screw and finish with the leftmost screw. Then you can put the last vent cover over on top of it. Once everything's in place, make sure you inspect the camera views to make sure that you have the angles set up right. And that's everything that you need to do to hardwire in your dash cams. Well, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you want, you can check out some of the other Prius tutorials that I've made, and I'll be sure to include more if I ever upgrade it and repair it in the future. Thanks for watching, guys.